Here we go. Welcome to another episode of Braves Country News. I am your host, Kale Diestel. Along with me are my co-hosts, Turner Mark Walter and Mick Barnett.
Yo, what's going on, Braves country? Great Sunday night we have here upon us. Winter meetings all wrapped up, and now we just got to discuss everything that took place, pretty much.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of stuff to get into. So let's get right into it. Kale, what's up?
All right, guys. Yeah, as Turner mentioned, winter meetings wrapped up this week, and Braves were kind of, I don't want to say surprisingly, because we really didn't know what to expect from the Braves this winter meeting, but they were kind of quiet. Not much happened. A lot of rumors circulated with them, and a lot of moves that did happen will affect the Braves. So, I mean, but not necessarily that they did anything directly. But the one direct move that they did made is they brought home a fan favorite, someone who's been with the team for the past two seasons. You all know and you all love Charlie Culberson. Turner, hit us with a little bit about Charlie.
Yeah, man. So basically, he was projected to make $1.82 million if he makes the major league roster with our deal. Pretty much, the Braves let him approach guaranteed MLB deals with other clubs where he could just stay in the major leagues his whole year. But he just ended up at the end of the day just really loved what the Braves had with their system going on. Would rather have taken a partially guaranteed deal where he has a major league invite for spring training, and if he does go to a spring training, then he can stay on the roster, pretty much type of thing. So I mean, I know Braves country was when they heard that he was getting non-tendered was probably the worst thing that could have happened to him. It seemed like on Twitter and on Facebook and everything. I mean, he just provided some great moments that just resonated in our head. I mean, the past 2 years he had 3 walk-off home runs, just coming in off the bench whenever we needed him. Just always provided a good clutch bat when we needed him. I mean, obviously with the 3 walk-off home runs. So, I mean, as of now, there's a good chance he gets a bench spot, depending on good performance in spring training, whether or not we make any more bench signings or not. So, I mean, it really just depends on how we approach the rest of the free agency with that in his deal.
Yeah, Mick, you got anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's smart for the Braves to go ahead and get Charlie back. I think it was nice of them to, let him explore and see what he can get outside of the Braves. And apparently he didn't get anything that caught his eye too much as he returns to us. I think Charlie really adds to the bench. Even if it's just a depth piece, it's really nice to have just so you don't have to go and make 2 or 3 signings to the bench. You can get away with just making 1 or 2 to the bench to help. So he kind of helps with depth in that factor.
Without a doubt.
Absolutely. Like I said, I mean, I know with Turner what he mentioned. It seemed like when the Braves did cut Charlie Culberson, it seemed like they were cutting the second coming of Babe Ruth for a little bit by some of you Braves fans out there. No offense, I know he's a fan favorite. I know he's a homegrown Georgia boy from Rome, Georgia. I'm happy he's still with us. I mean, just provides
me too.
a great. Just that clubhouse presence, the veteran leadership. Losing Brian McCann and Dallas Keuchel, even though Keuchel was only with us for half the year, he was still such a big leader in that in the clubhouse. So just having him back helps out a lot. And like I said, it's a no risk. If he doesn't make the major league roster, then we owe him nothing. But he's got an invite for spring training, and like we said, right now we haven't signed anybody for the bench. Obviously, that'll probably be coming later on after they take care of some glaring holes. And with that being said, Braves didn't really have any major signings, but a lot of teams did have major signings. Brought to you by the one and only Scott Boras. Turner, tell us the first major signing that Scott Boras brought to us.
All right, so pretty much the first signing was honestly, it was kind of unexpected that he went first. We always think we were all thinking Garrett Cole was going to get that first big deal, and that would kind of set the rest of the pitching market coming for the offseason. But Steven Strasburg signed back with the Nationals, which I thought was kind of unexpected, for 7 years, $245 million, which was at the time the highest AAV per year for any deal in Major League history. So, I mean, that deal only lasted for 1 or 2 days, but
One day, yeah.
Yeah, 1 day. So, I mean, It seemed to us that the Nationals seemed pitching in Strasburg more important than what Rendon provided to their lineup. It seemed like to us that they had more depth at pitching than they did in the lineup, so it would have made Rendon back to that same deal, which he ended up getting. He actually got the exact same deal that Strasburg got with the Angels. I mean, it would have seemed like that they would have signed Strasburg back just because they're Scherzer and Corbin and their and in their rotation. So, I mean, Rendon leaving the division definitely helps the Braves out a lot, without a doubt. I mean, knowing that we don't have to face them 19 times in a season really helps out. I mean, just the overall projections that we have going against the Nationals right now. But I mean, I guess Strasburg seemed more important to the Nationals. I mean, in a way, I mean that doesn't make sense to me. I'm not sure how you guys feel about that, but
I'm kind of with you. I would have liked Rendon back. I think I believe it was Dan Patrick on his radio show, the Dan Patrick show. He said that he likes the Angels signing over Garrett Cole.
He
likes the Rendon signing because Rendon's going to be in our lineup every day.
Exactly.
Garrett Cole is going to only affect 1 day out of 5 days.
Exactly. And think about Rendon hitting behind Mike Trout every year. To me, it would have made sense, obviously, like I said before, for the Nationals to sign back Strasburg. But I mean, because Rendon's playing every game instead of Strasburg playing every 1 out of every 5 games. But think about it as a sense for the Nationals, like they're losing out on their best hitter in their lineups. Soto is going to be just in the 3-hole alone. He'll be impacting everybody else, and just with how young he is, I feel like that's kind of too big of a risk to take. Even though, don't get me wrong, he had a great year last year. Don't get me wrong, but I feel like if he's going to be the premier hitter featured in their lineup, I feel like they would need to put a little bit more protection along with him. So,
and we'll talk about, and then kind of dive more into that in a minute, what that affects with the Braves.
Yeah, but
because it's got a big implication this season.
Exactly, but thinking about it, like for the Angels, I mean, I feel like the best decision they could have made. Putting Rendon hitting behind Mike Trout. Mike Trout has pretty much been alone in that lineup his entire career. He hasn't had any big impact bats other than maybe Shohei Ohtani this year hitting
Albert Pujols like the first 2 seasons.
Albert Pujols was probably the biggest bust contract in MLB history. Like I don't understand how he regressed so bad after that deal, but that's for another time. But Rendon coming to that lineup with how he's hit the past 3 years and how much he impacted that Nationals lineup after Harper left and everything. Yeah, I honestly think Mike Trout's going to have the best year of his career, and Rendon's just only going to help that.
Yeah, the Nats are going to definitely take a big hit when it comes to the lineup. I think they're definitely going to have to depend on Soto to kind of wrap everything up. It seems like they're going to depend on their starting rotation purely to get them to the playoffs, and I don't think that's the right route at all. Like you said, pitcher only pitches every 5 days. I mean, honestly, if I'm hanging out a big contract, it's not going to be to a big pitcher. It's definitely got to be to a guy like Rendon, who's going to be in that lineup every day, has the chance to impact your team a lot more than a pitcher would every 5 days. I mean, a position player is always going to be more valuable than any sort of starting pitcher, even if he's a Garrett Cole, the best pitcher in baseball.
Exactly. I mean, we can only thank Scott Boras for that, the greatest agent in sports history.
Well, and with the Scott Boras, Mick, you want to talk about the Tuesday signing that broke the internet for the MLB? I think it was a midnight bombshell.
It was.
Yeah, Garrett Cole signed very late that Tuesday night in San Diego. It wasn't as late for them as it was for us on the East Coast, but yeah, Garrett Cole breaking a big record in MLB, signing the second biggest contract in baseball history, getting $36 million for the next 9 years. I mean, it's just insane. We all knew that the Yankees, that was their guy, that was their white horse that they were going to go after and get, and they went and got him. And Brian Cashman was very pleased. That's what he wanted from the start. So it'll be interesting to see what the Yankees do with that big starting rotation they have now.
Exactly. And to me, I mean, a pitcher wouldn't want to pitch in Yankee Stadium just because of how short their field is and everything, how more likely home runs are, and just how high slugging percentage is in that stadium compared to other stadiums. Thinking about it in Garrett Cole's sense, Garrett Cole, even though he lived on the West Coast pretty much his entire life, he had always been a Yankee fan at heart. He just always wanted to put on those pinstripes. So, it makes sense for him, and he gets the $36 million per year, which is the most anybody has gotten in MLB history.
Yeah, one thing.
So, why wouldn't you want to take that kind of deal?
Yeah, one thing that's interesting about Cole is that he chose to go to the Yankees purely because he wants to win a world championship. I don't think that many people have signed in the past, decade on the sheer fact that, hey, I want to go get a World Series ring. Cole could have easily gone to the West Coast and probably gotten near to the same amount of money. Maybe not as much, maybe more, we don't know. But it's very interesting to see that Garrett Cole wanted to go to the Yankees on the sole fact that he wants to win a World Series, and the fact that he says that and expresses that makes you wonder if these other guys might take to that, and maybe Donaldson could, no, we're not going to get ahead of ourselves here, but maybe Donaldson could have the same.
Exactly. And just tying it all into it, Josh Donaldson seems to be the biggest question mark left for the Braves in free agency. If the biggest hole left for us is definitely third base, that third base cleanup spot type deal. So, going into Donaldson, basically it's down to the Braves and the Nationals, and it seems like the Twins have emerged as a dark horse kind of contender, reported the past couple of days that they would go the fourth year for Donaldson, which seems at the end of the day to be his breaking point with the team, is that he wants to have that fourth year guaranteed to him. Or maybe just a 3-year deal with a fourth year as a club option or something.
A mutual option or something.
Yeah, a mutual option or something like that. So I compiled a prediction for Josh Donaldson based off of my favorite beat reporter and Craig Mish. Craig Mish, if you're listening, I love you. But so basically Craig Mish, I know Braves Country knew, he had just joking predictions in percentages for JT Realmuto and the Braves that were always at the top of it, but obviously we didn't get him. But we were always up there, and just with that kind of resonated with me to kind of do something like this. So prediction for Josh Donaldson by Turner Mark Walter for entertainment purposes only. I have the Braves at first with 50% not solely based off of, but just in the fact that he would want to come back to where he's familiar with from last year. Spent the whole year with us, was basically pretty much one of our heart and souls of our lineup. He was hitting behind Freeman, Acuna, and Albies, and Swanson is switched out between Ozzie and Dansby. But either one of the two, they were producing good, and it was just the backbone. The score, I remember the score, if you're familiar with them. They made a report the other day saying that Donaldson race was heating up, but he preferred to stay with the Braves and everything. But it basically what it's come down to, what I've seen from reporters around the rumor mill, it's between the Nationals and the Braves. I got the Braves at 50%, Nationals at 35%, the Twins at 10%. Other mystery team remaining at 5%. And really, at the end of the day, it's only going to go to a 4-year deal, how teams are willing to approach that fourth year, whether any team is wanting to give him a fourth-year deal at all, because that's what I guess it seems like it's going to be, because he'll be 38 coming up on that fourth-year deal, which I know teams are looking at 38 years old for a third baseman who's had an injury history. It's doesn't look the best, but just with the kind of production he had last year once he was healthy, you would want to go that fourth year, hoping that the National League gets a DH kind of thing. But that's for a whole nother topic. But how are you guys feeling about giving Josh Donaldson a fourth year?
I've come around on it ever since the Rendon signing. Because now, hearing a lot of there's so many rumors going around now. It's kind of last offseason, there was very limited amount of rumors. It seemed like the only rumor that was going around was the JT Realmuto rumor, and that was for 2 months.
God, it was for 2 months and nothing happened.
I just don't – there's so much out there right now. It's it's kind of hard to believe. I don't know what's true, what's not. with the Chris Bryant and everything, with the Nolan Arenado, the Braves checking in. So I don't know what to believe right now. I don't know who's available, who's on the market, who would even be in our price range. So I kind of feel like it's almost like a JD or bus type thing for the Braves right
I agree.
now. Just because, like I said, you don't know who's available. You don't want to say, okay, we'll let JD go, but since there's rumors going around that Arenado or Bryant may be available, we can possibly trade for them. With that being said, I was against the 4th year, but if that's what's holding him back, I mean, if he would, I mean, don't go. I mean, if there's anything I've learned from Pawn Stars, I love a good Pawn Stars. You don't always, you never come in with your best deal. So
never.
the Braves obviously need to go in my opinion, 3 for 77. That needs to be their first offer if he wants that higher annual value. If he says it's got to be a 4th year, I would offer, hey, let's do a mutual option for a 4th year, and we'll make it for 23 million. So that way, that will get you up to that 100 mil. So you could have 4 for 100.
Mm-hmm.
But as I said, I mean, if he wants just a flat out guaranteed 4th year, I don't know if it will be 4 for 100. You would probably want to front load that contract, honestly. So that way,
100%.
if he does end up stinking and just going down the drain after, let's say, 2 years, and he's got 2 years left, and there's no DH coming, and his defense isn't improved, is going down, is declining, and Austin Riley's just right there at his heels, figuring out what he was doing wrong the second half of the season, then yeah, I mean, go that 4th year, but front load it. I don't care if that means, from everything I've seen, Liberty Media wants to spend this offseason. Completely opposite from last season. So why not front load it so that way you can trade him, you can get rid of that contract, it won't hurt you as bad in the long run. But yeah, I mean, I'm kind of for the 4th year now, but at the same time, I'm still taking my risk. I'm not diving in with that, Mick, what do you have to say?
Yeah, man, couldn't have said it better myself. I think now Donaldson being the only big name third baseman on the market, Rendon and Moose are gone, which we weren't expecting. We were expecting at least one of those to be there by the time Josh signed. And so it really kind of narrows it down and points your eyes right at Donaldson. And with the trade rumors with KB and Nolan Arenado, it's such an uncertainty, as we've seen like with Real Muto and stuff like that. I don't think the Braves fans don't want to go down that road. I don't think Anthopoulos wants to go down that road. And so I could definitely see them kind of giving in to JD and giving him what he wants. And yeah, I think front-loading the contract would be a great idea. Liberty Media wants to commit money now, and so why not, not be locked in for the long haul and allow Josh Donaldson to get that 4-year contract that he deserves. You know what I mean? Because this is his last year of, basically this is his last big year for contract-wise. So I can't blame him for trying to get that 4th year. And so why not approach it in the best idea?
Definitely. It's like coming from me, like a Braves fan. I mean, of course, it would kill me to see him play for another team, especially just that impact, especially the Nationals. Like just giving him that kind of spark and that clubhouse presence that he was. Like, I mean, just him holding around the umbrella, running around the bases when he had a home run, coming into the dugout, seeing everyone.
Having the umbrella at the steps waiting for him.
Exactly. Seeing the dugout just go crazy every time when he brought the umbrella into the dugout after a home run. I mean, it would just hurt to see him go and play for another team. But I mean, if he's and ends up getting a lot more money than he would have gotten with the Braves, then you know what? I'm happy for him. I'm glad he's doing it because I mean, this is his last chance to get like a big contract type of thing. So
absolutely, he was a little bit of a late bloomer. So you got to secure the bag any way you can. So I don't blame him for the 4th year, but I think in summary, we're kind of all on board with the 4th year if that's what's keeping us from signing him right now.
Without a doubt.
So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It's a waiting game, but if I had to take a bet, I would say it would probably happen before New Year's. That's just
100%.
I think it will happen before New Year's, but I think I'm not going to stay on this for much longer. But I think the real tone setter, I know we mentioned, was Rendon, but I really think the tone setter was actually Mike Moustakas.
Yes.
Getting 4 years for $64 million. I know a lot of people were only projecting him to get 2 years for 20 mil, so 10 mil a year, somewhere in that range, and he just completely tripled that. With the Reds. The Reds are trying to spend. So I really think that set the market for JD, he realized, hey, if he got 4 for 64, there's no way I'm taking 3 for 77 or 75.
This off season is still early. There's still a lot of things left to be done. Braves can still go a lot of different ways with how this offseason is played out. I mean, Josh Donaldson still hasn't signed yet.
Plenty of
Ozuna still hasn't
outfielders.
signed yet. Yeah, I mean, there's still
Castellanos, Puig,
Castellanos
Garcia.
and the trade market too. I mean, I know we've always been linked to trades and stuff just because of our prospect capital. Who knows? Maybe AA decides this week. You know,
Hey, there's still 2 months
do it.
before pitchers and catchers report.
Exactly.
So that's plenty of time.
Oh my gosh, that's still so much time for anything.
A lot to
anything
Because
happen.
honestly, free agency has only been going on for about a month.
I know.
So it feels like forever, but it's only been a month. But yeah, I mean, anything else you want to add, Turner? Well, let me hit this real quick, a little plug. Make sure you're following us on Twitter at Braves Country News is on Twitter, and also follow us at Braves Country News also on Instagram. We try posting as often as we can, getting you the latest news, rumors, whatever. We're active with our followers. So yeah, it would be awesome if you'd follow us on there. Also, make sure if you are watching this YouTube and you are not subscribed to our YouTube channel, what are you doing? I have no idea. You should be subscribed to this channel.
Sounds good, guys. You know where to follow us. We've said in the past couple of episodes already. So if you're not following us, like Kale said, I don't know what you're doing with your life. But honestly, guys, it should still be looking good for Braves country coming into the season. There's still a lot of holes left to fill, but I'm confident that our gets everything done that's needed be. So in that sense, in Alex Anthopoulos we trust, and Chop On, Braves country, have a good rest of your night.